Welcome to the Spark.
Crime is something that happens to you suddenly, without any warning, like lightning. You can't see it coming, you can't prepare for it. And when it's over, you hand it to the police and the courts and hope for justice. Now, that belief is wrong. Every single crime, whether it's a chain snatching event, it's digital fraud, a stalking case, or even a workplace assault, every crime follows a timeline. And this timeline has three phases. And in each phase, you have a different level of control over what happens to you. The difference between a victim and a survivor is knowing which phase you are in and using that knowledge.
March 2024, Bengaluru. A backpack bomb sat inside a busy restaurant for 40 minutes. That's 40 minutes. Dozens of people walked past it, sat next to it, ordered their food around it, chit chatted with friends, had fun, shared jokes. But nobody questioned it. 26 people were injured that day. Now, I want to ask you something that nobody has asked you after that event. Where was the public security system? And why did all the three pillars fail at the same time? The question is what Module 2 is all about. Three pillars that are supposed to keep us safe. Two of them are crumbling, and we will understand what this means for you and me. The law of this country already recognizes your power. It already gives you a role. The question is whether you know enough and are trained enough to use it. That is exactly what BSAT builds. BSAT is Basic Security Awareness and Tactics. That is what the spark ignites. Now, here is the critical point I want you to carry out of this module. The first two pillars have functional challenges that only policy and government reform can fix, and that will take time. But pillar number 3, you and me, we can fix our pillar today, right now. One person at a time. Right now, it's you. I want to ask you something. When you hear about a woman being attacked on a street, what is that first question that forms in your mind? Is it what the criminal did to her? Or is it what could she have done differently? Most people ask the first question, what happened to her? Almost nobody asks the second question, what she could have done differently. And that gap, that single difference in where we point our attention is why India produces more victims faster than it produces protectors. Now, in this module, we are going to flip that permanently. Remember Uncle Ben from Spider-Man? You know, the dying words that shaped the superhero? Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. Beautiful, profound. You know, it is quoted in boardrooms, graduation speeches, and motivational posters from here to the Silicon Valley. But what I want to tell you about this line is something that nobody has ever told you about. This line is only half the truth. So, here is the reality of personal security in India right now. Most Indians have outsourced their security and safety entirely to the police, who are outnumbered. We saw that in module 2. To the private security guard who earned his uniform after a single weekend of training and is currently on his 11th hour of a 12-hour shift. To the legal system where justice takes years to arrive and the criminal knows that. We have handed the keys to our safety and security to people who were never given the system and the tools to hold them. And then, when the system fails, as it inevitably does, we light candles, we march, we protest, we demand safety and security. Now, all of this is right, all of which is necessary, but none of which prevents the next attack. So, in this module, we will give you the knowledge you need to start building that security system brick by brick that will keep you and your loved ones secured and safe. Now, this module will also help you evaluate your security when you step outside of your home. So, let's get started. We will learn how to fortify our home against theft, against intrusion. So, with this module, my friends, your core security education begins. Let's get started. This is called a door frame metal detector, a DFMD. In most places, it is used as a beep machine. You pass through it, it beeps, and nobody cares about that beep. But to understand the concept of the tools, tactics, and personnel, let's go to that one place where this is used the way it should be used. Now, in this example, you are my VIP and I am your close protection operative. It is my job to protect you from all threats. And what I have done to protect you from all threats is I have laid down a super strong security plan that prevents anyone from reaching you. What you see on the screen is your property, is where you live. What I have done is I've put security at every gate, armed security at every gate, every door, CCTV all around the house, the perimeter walls, a team of 5 guards with arms patrolling the entire area, a team of 4 security personnel watching the CCTV in 20-minute shifts. Practically, I've made it impossible for anybody to get to you through these layers. But then something happens. If you do not know the capability of your threats, what they can do to you, then there is always a loophole in your security waiting to be exploited. Is to create multiple layers of checks and barriers that increase the difficulty of access of any threat to reach the asset you are protecting. Could be you, could be your family. In the above example, the asset was you. Guys, please understand, this is level 1 of BSAT. You are just beginning to understand what, you just started your journey in the rabbit hole. So your first step is awareness. In future programs, we will work on your capability to respond tactically. But that is in the future programs. Right now, you are aware of what is happening around you. You can only protect yourself and your family, not everybody else. Now, irrespective of where you are, school, college, shopping mall, public place, or even your workplace. Now, there are certain basic security features that you should always look for. We've understood that it is tools, tactics, and personnel that come together to form the protective layers around us. I've already given you 3 examples of that. Now, what you need to look for in your environment is whether that layer is being created and maintained. Are they using the HHMD to probe the beep? If they are trained, they will. If they are not, you know how strong the security status of that place is where you're getting into. Now, what is a 10-second guard scan? Now, this is very, very important, specifically if you are in large open spaces. If you are with your family, walk together. Let your family get into the vehicle first. And then you get into the vehicle. Once you get into the vehicle, the first thing you do is you lock the doors. The second thing you do is you start the car. The third thing you do is you move out of that parking lot. Then the fourth thing you do is you put the seatbelt on. But there is one word that every single Indian uses every day that almost nobody has ever stopped to define properly: safety. And we want it for our children. We demand it for our women. We vote for governments that promise it. We pay for gated communities that claim to deliver it. But ask most people to define the difference between security and safety, and you will watch them hesitate because they feel like the same word. They are not. This module draws that line clearly and permanently. And it ends with the 2 most important lessons I have ever taught in a decade of security training. I am Chakradhari. This is module number 5. And this is where everything comes together. A woman who has never been physically touched but lives in daily terror of her abuser. Is she safe? A senior citizen who has just been defrauded of his life savings. Now, the room goes quiet every time I ask this question. Because in that moment, every person in the audience I have spoken to in the past many years realizes something they have never been told before. And that realization is the 2 most important lessons in security and safety I will ever give you. Lesson number 1, 2012. The Nirbhaya case shook the nation. You know, a brutality displayed for a billion people to watch. Now, I too lit a candle for the cause back then. I did so as a civilian, blindly following the media narrative and its TRPs. But once I saw the case from a public security perspective, I could see the circus in plain sight. My error and that of everyone who lit a candle since 2012 and even before is that we have been asking for women safety, completely ignoring the safety is like a spirit. It needs a body to be able to operate, to function in our world, in our physical world. That body is security. Without the body, the spirit is a ghost. Now imagine if I said all women in 20 corporate companies have been raped in the last decade. But that is the reality. This is what we have gotten by chasing this ghost of women safety. Every time there is a case out there, we start talking about women's safety, but no longer